everyone, it's Lisa, aka Cosmic Mermaid. Welcome to my video. I thought I would make a video about witches and how to get witches in The Sims 4 without CC and without mods. Now, of course, if you have mods in CC, you can add even more fun to your game, but there is a lot in the game itself that you can do to get magic and witchcraft and all of that in your game without having mods and CC. Now, I'm playing pretty much a vanilla game. I do have two mods in my game. Here, let me pause this. I do have two mods in my game. I do have UI cheats and MCC Command Center just so that I can like fill needs and stuff while I'm doing this so that, you know, people aren't running off to bed and peeing themselves. But I'm not using it to enhance, you know, anything other than just doing that. So there's no CC and no other mods in here to enhance the witchcraft stuff and things like that. So I do have all game packs and all stuff packs, expansion packs, all that good stuff. I have everything. So, but you know, there's different things that I use from each one, and depending on, and including just the base game. So depending on what you have, I'm sure there's something that you can find that you can add and enhance your game. I know everybody's waiting for witches to be added to Sims 4. If it's going to happen, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you can still have fun adding witches to your game. Now, when I say witches, I'm talking both the Hollywood version of witches and the realistic version of witches. So, you know, the supernatural magic, you know, Hollywood version of witches, you know, hocus pocus kind of stuff, and the more normal, realistic version of witchcraft, you know, Wicca, paganism, that kind of thing. So adding both of those together into your game. So this is a family that I created to kind of show you how I add this kind of gameplay to my Sims 4. And I'm just going to go through, first I'm going to go through kind of like the decor that I use to make my builds and that a little more witchy. So I have, let me see. First thing I'm going to show you, let's see, I think in this room, this house actually is, I did not build it. I'm not a builder. I downloaded off the lot and then I made a lot of changes to it. So the first thing, and it's a pretty cool build. I like it. What's cool, has this like little offshoot little building here. This is like a greenhouse. So I'll show you how I made this little altar area here. I use, of course, I use cheats and move objects on, and I upsize and downsize objects a lot. And I use stuff from debug mode and everything else. So I used, you know, the statues in the game a lot. I upsize plants, downsize plants and flowers. I use the candles in the game a lot, and place them around. The crystals I use a lot in the game, for the witchy parts of my game. Stick them in all kinds of places to give, you know, a more witchy, magical feel. As you can see, I've placed a lot of candles in this flower. Oops. In this flower thing here. I'm not sure. I think this came with City Living. I don't know really what it is. It was like this round flower thing. I just thought it was pretty, so I stuck these candle things in here and upsized and downsized some crystals and stuck those in there and put stuck these flowers in here and put the statue in there, and I thought it was just a pretty like altar area. So that's just one thing that you can do in your game. I also have in this building here a couple of different kind of like witchy areas, so I'll show you those real quick. In here is just like, I don't know, like a study area. with some books and things. But I use the herbology skill a lot in the game for my witches, and I like to give them like a little area where they can come and brew the herbal remedies. So I like this little old-fashioned stove. So I put this out here, and they can come out here and brew their herbal remedies. I have some insects out here. I can easily drag them into their inventory to use. Of course, on the wall, I have some things from debug mode, some potions and things that just kind of look witchy on the walls. Some of the, I think these are the little things from debug mode that are the remedies. And that just little things that make it look a little witchy. Here's some garlic braids and things like that. The books and things that look old and, they were just hanging around for study and that kind of thing. So that's down there. And then, of course, up here I have another altar area. And here's another altar that I created. I use the candles a lot. Of course, like I said, I use the crystals a lot and all of that kind of stuff. The fossils is something that you can use in your game. The statues. I think this garland came with seasons. The minerals, the metals, the candles, the flowers, incense, of course. I size up and size down these refined crystals and lay those around. These magic beans I use. And then, of course, these candles and things that you can change the colors if you want to for different altars. If you're making an altar for a specific element or something, you can, of course, change colors. You can use the crystals that come in all different colors. And somebody working for The Sims, knows what they're doing, because a lot of the crystals that are used in the game are activated for specific things, like I think in Get Famous with that crown, which I forget what it's called, that just came with Get Famous, and you have to use a refined crystal in it to activate a specific mood or change a specific mood, and you use a specific crystal for it. In real life, the crystal actually enhances that type of mood. So somebody at Sims 4, has studied metaphysics at some point, because they know what they're talking about. So in here, I've got some things from the Vampire Pack. There's some cool things that came with Jungle Adventure. The skulls from the sugar skulls. You can size them up and size them down. Here's some of the relics from the Jungle Adventure, which are really cool because they do a lot of different things. They can curse and they can bless. They can bring happiness. They can bring a sim friends. They can bring and you can put that on yourself. You can activate it on your sim, or you can activate it on a sim that is nearby. You can, activate it and bring a sim sadness, or you can activate it and bring a sim a friend. You can activate it and bring a sim money. You can activate it and bring a sim death. You can activate it and bring a sim a skeleton helper around the house. There's different relics. I think there's like 9 of them. And so you can use those as part of your witchy gameplay. And of course, these are the things that you can use as for like spells and things like that. So that's just some of the decor that I have. And this came with vampires as well. This is in the rugs. I think it came with City Living, and there's a few different ones, and they kind of look like sigils or things that you would, paint on the floor. So I like to use them in as part of the witchy decor as well. Here outside, I have an Ancestor Altar, and of course you can use this as a place to put your Sims in the family that have passed over, died. You put their urns and their gravestones and put flowers and candles and things out there. You can use some decorations, the skulls. I use this fossilized alien skull just because it has a skull. So I put that out here. I have these two roses. I use these luminaries from Seasons, and I thought these candles were pretty, so I put them out there. And I even used these little things from the spooky pack that came with Sims. And I think these tables are from Spooky Pack too. I just used them because they were black. So, you know, you really have to think outside the box, just be creative, be resourceful, just kind of look at the different things that are in the game that come with the game and use them differently than what they were maybe purposed for. I also have another altar in here, kind of like this is the main hearth for the family over their fireplace, and this is like a seasonal altar that changes out with the seasons. If you have seasons, you'll know that there are all kinds of different flowers that change with the seasons. It has different seasonal flower colors and things like that. If you don't, you can just go through the game and find flowers that are change with they have the colors of the seasons. These candles, this wreath, some lights, different little statues and things. Then I have this other statue in here with some candles and things here on the floor. I have all kinds of little witchy things, excuse me, all through the house. Usually candles and incense and crystals and things I like to stick around the house and that kind of thing as well. I'll have, like the little potion bottles stuck around the house, as a witchy thing. The person who built this is why I like this house, they put a lot of the fountain stuff around and the bubbly things to make the bubbles. So I thought that was really cool. This is why I like this build. It just looked really witchy to me, so I thought that was really cool. So that's why I picked this build, and then I just added to it and changed it up. Okay, I gave the teens this. It's a mother and a father and three teenage girls. Um, they're triplets. Do we have to have this on, y'all? I gave the girls a day off from school so that they would be home so I could show you different stuff. So the mother, is training the girls in their witchcraft and magic. She, of course, has a lot of skills. And one of the things that I do is utilize the clubs in the game. So I have her set up with she's Beatrix and her three daughters as a club. And I'll just start a gathering to show you. So right now I have it set up and I change their activities depending on what I want them to do. But some of the things that they're being trained as for in their witchcraft and their magic is gardening, wellness, painting, logic, and what do you call it? Handiness. So that's the skills that I want them to level up in. So that's the things that they're working on. So when they're in their training, she has them doing that, and I'll start the gathering, and that's so they'll start going around and just working on those skills. And that's just so it's part of their training in their, let's say, coven, quote unquote. So if you're working with initiation in your game and that's part of your storyline or a coven, you can easily use the clubs for that. I also have her as part of the Witches' Council, and there's two other witches that are her neighbors, Matilda and Annabeth, and they're on the Witches' Council, and they also do gardening and other things. Depending on what I want them to do, I'll populate this. And the girls, actually, Genesis, Aurora, and Constance, have a little witches club with their friends, and they will get together and do different things depending on what they want to, if they want to train together with their friends and do different things. They might go out looking for frogs or go fishing, do their homework, be friendly with each other. Sometimes they just get together and they'll go to karaoke or do stuff together. Sometimes they'll go looking for fossils or crystals and things like that, because they have to complete part of the game, and part of their training to become witches is may have to complete the fossil collection, or they may have to complete the crystal collection, or they may have to find a specific crystal or something like that. So that could be part of your gameplay as well. One of the skills in the game, the mixology skill, is, girl, you're supposed to be practicing your making your drinks. What are you three gonna do? I don't trust you. One of the things in the game, the mixology skill, is pretty helpful and cool to use for if you want witches in your game, because you can make potions and specific drinks that do specific things to other sims. So if you give them a drink, you might be able to make them flirty, or make them sad, or you can. There's a drink that can bring a sim back from death. So these are things that you could use as spells. And so upping their mixology skill can be part of your magic play in the game as well. So this is why Constance is over here upping her mixology skill, and somebody left dirty plates on the bar, which is great. Teenagers. I always like to have the Sims who are working on their witchcraft work on their wellness skill, because at some point when they raise their wellness skill, they can levitate and teleport, which is a cool thing to do if you are a witch. So that's one of the things they can aspire to do as well. So she's working on her wellness skill, meditating here. She's just very new to her wellness skills, so she can't levitate or teleport, but I believe her mother can, because her mother has, and her father, because they are high in their skills. And they're still, I think there's a problem with the trash in this house. I don't understand why. And of course they have a kitty cat. This is Nova. Because they're witches, so witches would have a kitty cat. And this is their father. I guess he just came home from work, and he is really good with the weather machine, which is another thing that you can do, of course, in the game. If you want to play with weather magic, or wreak havoc on the neighborhood for, I don't know, being mean to your kids, for being, for being witches or something, create a snowstorm. So we'll have him come over here and see if he can create a snowstorm and, play with some weather magic. Let's speed it up, see if we can, hopefully he doesn't get struck by lightning or anything. Let's see, is it going to work? Oh, he did it. Yes. He did it. So now it's snowing. So that's another thing that you can use in the game. If you have seasons, then you can play around with that. They also have up here a little, like a little lab room. One of the things that you can play with, of course, with the crystals, and you can analyze things, make serums to do different things. You can look at things under the microscope, so you can add that into your gameplay as well. These are some of the serums and things you can, and you drink them, and they, like it says, it temporarily gives your sim brain power of an alien and stuff like that. So those are things that you can use as spells, and just fun things that you can add to your gameplay. And of course I have more crystals and things like that up here. And you can refine crystals, I think, on these things as well. You can also refine them on the archaeology table. And of course, part of the fun of this is going out and exploring and going out to find the crystals, or going and doing the jungle exploration and finding the relics and things like that, or upping your archaeology skill as part of your training to become a witch, or part of your magical training and things like that. Oh, they have their winter wear on because Dad made it snow, and they're dancing. They do a lot of dancing. And of course, one of the things, if you have the vampire pack, one of the things that you can do is, have a war between the witches and the vampires. There's a cure for vampirism, or you can change the vampires back to humans if you up your skill in vampire lore. So that's another thing that you can do as part of your witch training. You can, up your vampire lore and learn the recipe on how to cure vampirism, and you can run around throwing it at different vampires and become a vampire hunter. So that's another fun thing that you can add to your sim game. So Ma here has a relic, and I want to see if I can activate it. She has a relic. The relics are pretty cool because, like I said, they do have different powers. And the one that I want to activate, I think I have it. I already put the crystal in it. You activate them, or you have to have a refined crystal to put in the relics. The relics there's a top and then there's a base. You put the top and the base together, and then you have a crystal, refined crystal that you put in, depending on the strength of the crystal or the fineness of the crystal, whether it's common, uncommon, or rare, that will give you different effects of the relic. So this relic will bring a skeleton helper to your house. And depending on the rarity of the crystal will depend on how the sims of the house will react. So if it's a common crystal, the sims will be scared of the skeleton. If it's uncommon, if the skeleton is near the sim will be scared. And if it's uncommon, the sims will be happy the skeleton helper is there. So I want to have her activate this on herself, I think. Will that bring the skeleton to the skeleton helper to the house? I've never done this. I've activated the relics before, but having a skeleton helper come to the house, look how cool that is.
Noise.
See, it's like magic. I love it. So let's see if skeleton helper comes. Oh God, what happened? Beatrix. Okay, wait a minute. Beatrix has been blessed with a skeletal helper. The charming character will bring a bit of cheer to the household while helping out with the more mundane chores. Okay, where is it? Let's find out. Oh shoot, that scared me. There he is. Does he have a name? Wait a minute, what's his name? Ulna Maximus. Ulna Maximus. Ulna. Isn't that like that bone? Isn't that your funny bone? The Ulna bone? I don't know. Maximus. Okay. Well, welcome to the household. Let's talk to him. Let's do a friendly introduction. That's hilarious. So is he going to like clean up? Because these people do not clean up. These witches are not the cleanliness of witches. Oh, now they're cooking. They got all kinds of things cooking. Look at these people. They're cooking and they just leave it. I don't even know. All right, I'm hideous. It's fine. Don't overreact. You're a witch. You'll be fine. Go create a potion or something. So yeah, that's hilarious. I don't know what happened to the skeleton. Oh, she's talking to him. So that's funny. So yeah, so you could activate that, and now you got a skeletal helper in your house. There's nothing more witchy than that. He is hilarious. He's a dog lover. Well, we have a cat. I'm so dead. Okay. Are you going to clean up? Oh, he's playing with his bones. Okay. All right. So let me just let him do what he's got to do. Does he stay around forever? I don't even know, but I am I just want this for everything. What happened? What happened here? What is this? This house is the messiest house I swear I've ever had in a game. Okay, Lisa, get back together. What is he doing? What is she doing? What is happening? What is wrong with her?
Oh, sorry.
Because he's breaking his bones? Oh God, I can't even. Okay, I gotta. Okay, that's enough. Okay. Anyway, get back to what you were doing, Lisa. Oh, look how pretty this looks out here when it's all lit up. Look how pretty. Anyway, so so yeah, so those are some of the things that you can do. The relics are really cool to play with. Of course, you have the gardening, which is one of the first things that everybody does play with in the game. You of course have all the herbs that you can do. You can splice in the garden. You can graft, of course, and make new plants. Um, Collect all the plants, things like that. Don't forget about the all the alien plants because those are really cool. And then, of course, if you have seasons, you can use the flower arranging table and make arrangements that actually do things to other Sims if you give them to them or keep them around for yourself. So they can, make them flirty or make them sad or cause different emotions and things like that. I think they can even bring about death. I don't even know. There's a bunch of go to Carl's Sims 4 guide. Just Google it and you can get a list of what everything in the game does and how to get it done. So that's another thing is you can use that as spells and things like that. And, as an achievement, work on that. Another thing that definitely I use a lot in the game is the wishing well. And of course, oh yeah, don't forget to use the alien plants in the game because they're really pretty. That's what these are. Those floating ones, and of course the mushrooms. I just think they're really pretty and they're kind of witchy looking. But yeah, of course you want to use the wishing well. That's a witchy thing, and you can make offerings and make wishes and use that to enhance your gameplay as well. Sometimes I have certain Sims only collect certain things, like say if it's a Sim who is a witch, a love witch, so she might collect or only have things that she might have the love potion and the red crystals or the flowers that are for flirty and things like that, or and the aspirations that are for love, or a sim who is an earth type of sim, so she may be into fishing and gardening, and she may be into healing so the herbal remedies and things like that. Or I may have a sim who is more into, you know, the a water type of witch, and so she may be into more creative things, and she may be into more like alleviating some of the potions alleviate sadness, things like that. So she may collect those types of things. Sometimes I have, like for these sisters, when they're collecting things, they may, it's their job to go out and collect certain things for themselves. And if one of the other sisters finds something that would, their other sibling would want, they can't trade unless the other sister has something that the first sister would want. So if the Earth sister has a love potion and the love sister has a herb, then they can trade. But if they don't have something that they can trade, then they can't just give it to the other one. So that could be, part of a challenge, or just to make the gameplay more interesting or make it harder, something like that. So that's just something that I add just to make it a little harder and just to give it a little more interest. Otherwise, it could just be easy. Why are there so many grilled cheeses on this thing? What is wrong with you people? And there's food here, and a skeleton walking around, witches dancing, just craziness going on in this house. Oh my goodness. So I hope this was helpful and interesting. Like I said, I know we would love to have witches in The Sims 4, and it'll probably happen someday, but why wait? Create your own. Get into the game and find what you can and make it happen for yourself. There are a lot of really cool things that you can put around for decor. There are a lot of really cool things that you can turn into spells and magic in the game that you don't need mods, you don't need CC, and you can create stories around it. So have fun with it. If there's something that I missed that I don't know about, definitely let me know because I'm always looking for other cool things to add to my gameplay. So I hope you find this helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.